Okay, so today on the piano series, we're listening to the 12 American Preludes by Alberto Ginastera for solo piano. I have them here in one volume, though I think originally they were published in 2 volumes of 6 pieces. This Carl Fischer score is quite a nice, inviting cover. Lots of different 60s looking fonts. This score, so I originally bought it for my piano lessons, actually. I can't remember which prelude I was learning, but my teacher felt that I really needed to play it. I think at the time I was obviously interested in more rhythmic music and clearly fascinated by metal, for example. And I think that's why my piano teacher wanted me to get into Ginastera, and this was sort of like what he thought would be the gateway piece for me. Here's the table of contents. I'm not going to get too into that. I'd rather show you what the start of each piece looks like while I sort of list them off here. The whole 12 preludes are dedicated to Raúl Spivak, who I'll talk about later in the video. This first prelude is called Accents, and it's 27 seconds long. The second prelude, Sadness, is very simple, 2-part invention type thing. It's almost a minute long. Prelude 3 is Creole Dance. It's a little bit longer. I think it's multiple pages. Yeah, it's 3 pages long. Then Prelude 4 is Vidala, 1 minute and 2 seconds. Prelude 5 is called In the First Pentatonic Minor Mode. It's 1 minute and a half. And then to close off the first volume is Tribute to Roberto García Morillo. And this one looks a little bit more difficult to play. It's marked Presto. The second volume starts with a prelude called Octaves, simply. Prelude 8 is another tribute to Juan José Castro. Prelude 9 is a tribute to Aaron Copland, a man who needs no introduction on this channel. Then we have a short 2-page movement called Pastoral. I actually have some fond memories of sight reading this one just because it's so beautiful and easy to play. Then we get the tribute to Heitor Villa-Lobos. Another homage. And the last prelude is in the pentatonic major mode, I think. Yes. So this is a white key one. It's also very easy to play, and it's 3 staves. And it's really gorgeous too. So I find these range in difficulty a lot. I don't think their main purpose was to be teaching tools. I think they are just like a series of very pretty pieces that encapsulate a lot of Ginastera's influences and ideas. So Raúl Spivak, the dedicatee, was an Argentine pianist and teacher, born in 1906, died in 1975. He was a piano teacher of Astor Piazzolla, and he was sort of pursuing his studies in piano and composition in the 1940s. So started a bit late in life, I think. Then he toured extensively across North America and Europe before settling in on a teaching job, professor of Florida Atlantic University, Boca Raton. In 1968, he started that job and died not that much late after that. And so an interesting figure. All of the homages later in the volume are for composers. So this is the only name associated with this piece who is a pianist primarily. Roberto García Morillo, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. He was a Argentine composer. He was also for a time a music critic and a musicologist and a music professor. He was born in 1911 and died in 2003. And he was sort of a really big figure in Argentine like composition and contemporary music. He was president of the Union Compositor de la Argentina, or CUDA. He was also vice president of the Asociación Argentina de Compositor, or the AAC, in other words. And he sort of just received extensive commissions throughout his career. I don't have noted here where he was a professor, but yeah, you could imagine such an important man also was an academic. Juan Jose Castro is an interesting figure in Argentine music. He was a composer and conductor. He was born in the late 19th century, 1895, and he died in 1968. He his career sort of peaked in the 1940s as a composer. Later, he became conductor of the Renacimiento Chamber Orchestra, and later conducted the Teatro Colón. And then he had a couple big teaching posts, professor at Buenos Aires Conservatory in the 1940s, and then later director of the Conservatory of Music of Puerto Rico in the 1960s. Aaron Copland is a very famous American composer who was influenced by Mexican realist music. And yeah, he's definitely the biggest name out of these dedicatees. We have an episode on Copland already, so I encourage you to check that out, where you can find more information about him. I'm not going to repeat myself in this video. But yeah, definitely a composer that everyone should know. And finally, Heitor Villa-Lobos is a huge name in classical music. And he's a Brazilian composer. Many have said the most famous Brazilian composer ever. He was born in 1887 and died in 1959. And in addition to being a composer, he was a cellist and guitarist and conducted. He wrote over 2,000 pieces. So this was like a very prolific person who, would write music like, he'd write a piece in half an hour or whatever. He'd write multiple pieces a day kind of guy. Kind of like Darius Milhaud, just always constantly writing. His most famous pieces, I think, would be his Bachianas Brasileiras, which are a series of chamber pieces for varying instrumentation. He wrote those between 1930 and 1945. And he also has a number of string quartets, which was actually those were the first pieces of his I listened to get introduced to his music, and they're really underperformed and interesting. He has a lot of them, as you can imagine. So yeah, definitely a sort of rabbit hole composer who can take over your whole listening life. Okay, so with that, I'd like to get into these pieces. I'm going to have a listen to them. And sorry I didn't have a blurb about the composition of these themselves. I just thought it was fascinating how many homages there were amongst them. And if you're familiar with the style of any of these composers, I'll let you be the judge if they are proper homages or if maybe they're more just Ginastera's music. And yeah, I don't know what I'm going to get out of this listen, but we'll see. Recording is in the video description. I encourage you to listen along. It doesn't take that long to get through all of them. Okay, nice. So I'm glad I revisited these. I was a lot more familiar with the easy ones, like the simple, slow ones, than the more complicated stuff. And yeah, I was really surprised by this sort of contrast between the more technical etude like preludes and then the very simple, like, you know, minimalistic ones like this one, for example. And I think it's a little bit indebted to Bartok's Microcosmos, just this idea of doing very small things in a variety of levels of difficulty and being able to express yourself as a composer with very simple music and very complicated music. I think that's very informed by Microcosmos, which would have been, I can't remember when it was published, but it would have been composed maybe 4 years before this. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. And I was sort of trying to think about the form of each like set of six. Like, does it work as a suite kind of thing? And I think they kind of do. The ending of the first six, the what is it, homage to Roberto Garcia Morillo. That was a really great finale. Also, the major pentatonic mode at the end of the second suite was really a great ending. I like also that you have the two different modal ones in each set, like the minor pentatonic mode and then the major. So you have like basically white key pieces, one in each set. I think they complement each other really well. This accents movement is very similar to the octaves movement that starts the other set of preludes. So, yeah, it's a fascinating thing that the composer has to do, right? He has to come up with a way to make 12 a 12 movement piece, basically, you know. So yeah, really inspiring and interesting. And that'll be it for Ginastera for a while. And I think this is the last of his piano scores that I have. So thanks for taking the time to look at it with me.